Okay, hi Jerry.
Hello.
Thank you for willing to see me today. Okay, I'm Sabrina.
You're
Okay,
welcome. I'm Jerry.
now, okay,
People call me Young Jerry.
oh, young Jerry. I want to have a simple interview with you about the
Yes.
differentiate culture
Yes.
between Malaysia
Yeah.
and your
And
state.
my country,
Or your
Australia, New
country.
Zealand. Yeah.
Yes.
Western.
First of all, can you introduce yourself for me?
Well, my name is Jerry Clayton.
Okay.
I was born in Sydney, and I went to New Zealand when I was 25 years of age. Stayed in New Zealand. I got married in New Zealand to an Australian girl.
Mm.
I have 4 children, all grown up, and my eldest son is 55,
Okay.
and I've got 8 grandchildren.
How many? 8?
8 grandchildren,
Oh, 8
yeah,
grandchildren,
yeah,
okay.
lovely kids, and I had a business in New Zealand,
Oh.
and I sold that to my partner, and then I came to the BMW factory. The representative in New Zealand asked me to come to Singapore to purchase used BMW cars for the dealers in New Zealand.
Oh.
So I did that in 1998, and then after that my colleague took over that job, and I opened my own company, Kiwi Auto Exports, in 2002. And still running to this day. So basically what I do now, I lived in Singapore 15 years, but the apartment I was in got sold for en bloc. You know, they demolished the apartments and built a high rise. So I looked around. A friend of mine was living in Malaysia at Horizon Hills. He said, come over and have a look, because in my business I don't have to work 9 to 5 or any set hours. So as far as the traffic across,
Singapore,
I avoid the jam by going at a different hour. Like in the morning, I go in at say 10 o'clock, come back at 4. So I did. I eventually moved to Horizon Hills, and I've lived in 3 different houses there. But my current house I've been for 5 years. So
in Malaysia, how long you stay?
8 years in Malaysia, yes, and very, very happy. I would not want to go back to Singapore, and to be honest, I wouldn't go back to New Zealand or Australia. The reason being, the weather. Because the heat is 30 degrees every day here, virtually around there. You go New Zealand in winter, 10 degrees, 5 degrees, 10 degrees. So at my age, I can't put up with the cold,
Or you can handle the cold.
Well, New Zealand is a very damp in winter, very damp. Like you put your clothes out to dry, the washing, maybe take a week to dry if you get some sun. The weather's because New Zealand is so south, they get a lot of wind, a lot of wind from the South Pole and bad weather. They get some lovely weather. Probably the best months to go there are February, March, April, May.
So you prefer to live and stay in Malaysia?
Yes. Yeah, I did intend to go back, but no, I make my permanent home here because I can always travel. I go there. I'd only go there in summertime, to visit my family. I've travelled a lot all over the world, but to be honest, Malaysia takes a lot of beating, Obviously, when you're from a different culture, there are cultural differences that you have to accept. If you don't like, go back home.
Go back, yes?
Yeah. So I accept them, and but there's a few little things that can be upsetting,
But you prefer because you can accept Malaysian culture.
Yes. Well, even though I'm Church of England Christian, but I respect the Muslim religion because hey, that's very strong throughout the world. I've been to Indonesia, and obviously in Malaysia, but that's that's the
Different.
culture.
Yeah.
That's the culture of this part of the world. And but I find that when I go into a shop, no matter what colour or creed or religion, in Malaysia they treat you, respect you, and good morning, selamat pagi, or
It's make comfortable to stay
yeah,
here.
to do
Use the
business,
people
to
to
do business,
business.
Hey, in every country you have bad people
Yes.
and you have good
Really.
people,
Yes.
and just prior to me coming to Malaysia, people said, "Oh, don't go to Malaysia, or you'll
So
get
many
robbed, you'll get
crime.
stabbed, so crime." Rubbish, that's rubbish. That's Singaporeans, because the Singaporeans come over, they flash their Rolex watch, their Ferrari, and big note. But and Singaporeans, I know that if you're in a car in a Singaporean car, they can be quite rude,
Singapore is
on the
less
road.
crime.
Singapore.
It's less crime or less
Well,
robbery.
less. I mean,
From Malaysia.
there's only 6 million people. Malaysia got 30 million. I mean,
It's
but
more.
I think for the size of Singapore, there's quite a bit of crime. There's quite a bit. Quite a bit, yeah.
Okay, now in Malaysia, you still work, do your business, or you just
I have a company. Yes, I work in my company.
still work?
Yes.
Still work lah.
Yeah, and people say to me, Jerry, when will you retire? I said, when I die, because that's why
This is your passion.
I eat healthy. I eat healthy. I go to the gym. I'm very keen on fitness. I've always trained all my life. Gym and swimming, and because a fit body is a fit mind.
Yes.
And
True.
a lot of people retire, say when they're I think in Malaysia the retirement age is 65 or 60 or 65, but a lot of people retire and they've got enough money, just they go and do the garden, or they don't work. But if you don't use your mind, soon you'll get things like dementia, Alzheimer's, all those problems, because the brain has got roots. When you're learning, the roots grow like a tree.
Yes.
When you're not using your mind, your roots shrivel up and they die.
Die.
So yes.
Okay, so you say you have traveled many country in Malaysia. You have traveled many country around the world.
I've been. Oh yes. I've been because of my business.
Asian country, how many country?
Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Singapore.
Malaysia.
Yeah, that's all in Asia, I think.
But the best for you is Malaysia. That's why you choose Malaysia.
Yeah, yes. Generally, I know. I mean, I know people in business in Indonesia. My colleague is he's married to a Thai girl, but it didn't work out. She's very naughty because he built a house, but it's in her name. So mortgage payments she never paid anymore. Very bad. Anyhow, it's another story. But
yes, I want to ask you: is that any culture shock experience while your first stay in Malaysia?
Culture shock.
About anything about the culture, about the people. Have you
No, because I lived in Singapore, so I was used to Asian culture. Plus, I've been to Asian countries. I've met a lot of Malay and Malaysian people. Sort of Chinese, Malay, Indian people. I enjoy the food, Malaysian food.
Malaysian food. What is your favorite Malaysian foods?
Well, nasi lemak I like, and
you can eat sambal.
Laksa.
Oh
yeah, I like spicy.
Spicy?
I like spicy.
But you
yeah.
can handle.
I can handle it. So far,
But it's
no
okay.
problem.
Nasi lemak is
Yeah.
okay for you.
I like nasi goreng. It's Indonesian, but it's also here. So yeah, and Indian food. I like all food. Chinese food, Thai food.
You like Asian food. So your origin country is
Australia.
Australia. You born in Australia.
Yeah, Sydney.
Sydney. Okay. Can you explain to me a little bit differentiate about your culture in workplace? Malaysia and Sydney. The difference work culture.
I think the main cultural difference, one of them to me, is because I've always played sport. You know, golf, rugby, football, and see, Malaysians are very good at badminton. Badminton. Now, there's not really Australia, New Zealand badminton like world champions. You know, so I think because of I don't know why, but the cultural. I mean, Malaysia. I mean, golf. Malaysia have a very good golfer. Good golfer. New Zealand had a girl. She was 14, number one in the world. Lydia Ko. She was.
Golf is our expensive sport.
Well, it's not expensive here, but so not expensive here though. It's expensive in Singapore. Very expensive.
Singapore
but you know, expensive. I can go and play at Senibong up here, golf club. I think I pay 100 ringgit. Well, that's cheap, you know. So, and golf clubs aren't expensive. I mean, you only buy them once, you know.
Badminton is because more affordable to all people can.
Badminton, yeah, exactly. And so Horizon Hills just built they've got a big badminton hall there. Very popular.
Malaysia most popular.
But you know, I think Malaysians are learning to prepare fitness for them, you know, because a fit body is a fit mind, and I think a lot more Malaysian people now are interested in fitness, you know, jogging and going to gym, swimming. The one big thing I noticed, because Singapore is an island, right, and I competed in a biathlon there. It's a swim and a run, but it's amazing the amount of children that can't swim. Now, being an island, there's a lot of ferries go to Batam, Bintan, here, come to Malaysia. Now, if a ferry has a capsize and there's children that can't swim, they're going to drown, you know. So I always say to parents with kids, please teach your children to swim, because you never know in life. See, swimming is like riding a bicycle, which is very popular in Malaysia, riding a bicycle. You know, even though the roads sometimes quite dangerous, you know.
I see now Malaysia people is more exposed about swimming class for their kids now. They more exposed because I see many swimming class.
Yes.
Over here, over there have.
That's right.
About the time management in workplace, is that a big difference? White people and Asian people.
What?
Time management
when
at workplace.
Well,
at office.
The one thing that's is a little bit different, I might tell you. It's not probably Singapore. When the time comes to have lunch to Singaporeans and I think Malaysian, most important meal of the day. Got to have lunch. And it must have lunch, which is good. But if there's 6 people in the office, all 6 go to lunch and close the office. Close the office. They don't care about the business, you know. It's just culture. It's just a culture. Singapore the same. Lunch. Got to have lunch.
But all the people go out together.
Yeah. It might go different. They mightn't go together. They have lunch at different times. You know, in a business they have a roster. So say you've got a dozen people in your office, 12 people or something. So okay, 4 people go at 12 o'clock till 1. 6 people go 1:30 till 2:30. Or you know, they stagger it over about 3 hours from 12 till 3. So, but they always keep someone in the office, you know.
Don't leave office empty, right?
That's right. Don't leave the office empty. Correct. Well, you've got people, especially if you're selling products and the phone rings and nobody answers. They think, oh, is the company closed up or what? You know?
So Asian culture is same. Singapore, Malaysia is same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have been wear a clothes that influenced by Malaysia culture? Right, baju Melayu or any race? Have you?
Clothes? You mean what I wear? The
You
clothes
wear,
I wear? Well, because of the heat here. I mean, I got to see. In New Zealand, I used to. Well, when I worked, I used to wear a suit, tie and a suit because
if you
I
go to
own
work,
my company. But here, I've only. I mean, I've got a lot of clothes that I really need to throw out because and I'll never wear them again. You know, I've got suits. I've got suits and you know proper dress clothes, long sleeve white shirt, ties, but very seldom wear them because here the heat.
this weather is not
And
suitable.
I'm not dealing direct with my customer. My customers are all over the world, New Zealand, Australia. I export cars, see? Export vehicles from Singapore to right-hand drive countries because except Malaysia is illegal.
Okay, you know the Malaysia culture or race that you know. Malaysia have Chinese, Indian. So you actually know or learn about their culture. If you know, like Indian culture, Chinese.
Well, I know that Malaysia has many holidays, and for different couples, like the Indian, we just had
Indian,
Diwali
Chinese.
and Hari Raya for Muslim. Chinese have Chinese New Year. New Zealand, Australia, we have nothing.
New Zealand only Christmas.
Malaysia don't recognise us, so we have Christmas. Yeah,
only Christmas. In
New
Malaysia,
Year.
we have four festival.
Yeah, sure. So? We have we only really have we have Easter. Easter,
yes.
Easter is Good Friday. 4 days at Easter, say Australia and New Zealand. 4 days at Easter. Christmas. Christmas 4 days.
4 days.
4 days, and New Year 4 days. 4 days.
Can you tell me about Easter festival because I'm not know about Easter.
Easter.
Easter festival.
Easter is good. Easter's when Easter's Christ died at Jesus died at Easter, and that's a festival. It's a Christian festival. Christian festival, basically. Yeah.
Have you learned any language?
Not really. I can. In my time, I've learnt to speak German, Italian, because I used to travel to Europe when I was a Mercedes and BMW dealer. So I go to the factory. I spent time in the UK. But in 8 years, I really haven't learnt Bahasa, but I'm now going to do a course because I've decided to stay here. So you must be able to speak because a lot of people can't speak English.
Yes.
That's not their fault. It's my fault that I don't speak Bahasa. You know, right?
Right. Can you share about the white people, white girl, the different and the Asian girl?
Well, basically, I mean, I've been in Asia. I've lived in Asia for 20 years now, so I can tell the difference. But starting with kids, like little kids, little boys and girls, sometimes 2, 3, 4 years old. And I think this is attributed to the diet. See, in New Zealand and Australia, they have dairy, right? Dairy, which is milk and cream, but mainly milk, right? But you can go out here to a restaurant you know, at 10 and at 10 or 11 at night, and there's young kids, but they're very well behaved. You know, if they were in New Zealand, they'd be they'd be crying because they get tired. You know, they get tired. So the kids here are, the babies here. I really love Asian kids.
Oh, you really like Asian?
Yeah, I do. And talking about Asian, for instance, the women. I mean, Asian women to me are they are learned and they are taught or learned, it's in the culture, to look after their man, you know, whether husband or boyfriend or whatever, but to look after and
more caring
treat more caring, but more respect. More respect. Whereas some white women, they're in the family, they're the boss. The man is put down, you know.
Yeah. Like that.
Yes, very much so.
Woman is the boss.
Not all. I'm not saying all over, but there. I think I've got to say they're a stronger personality, but that's not just that. That's not saying it's a good thing, because a stronger personality, and you get a man with it, and they can clash a lot of, you know. I know in all cultures there's a lot of marriage breakups and divorces and all that sort of stuff, but generally I find that Asian women, even at my age, I mean, at my age I have a girlfriend who's 35.
35?
Yeah. And you know, and we get on well most of the time. Sometimes because I have some old girlfriends ring, just friends, girls. I've been here a long time and I've had a lot of girlfriends who are friends, and guys call me, but sometimes she gets upset, but she's learned not to, because, you know, she's on a good week. She's living in my house, doesn't pay any rent or anything, and I'm only 2 minutes from the golf club, so she goes to work, and they get good money. The caddies, she must make. Together? I think, yeah, she makes about. But she can't cook.
Oh, yeah. It's so sad.
Can't cook.
Can't cook.
So I think,
buy a food outside.
That's general. Yeah, grab and, you know, always getting grab. But in general, I think Western women are better cooks than Asian women. Generally, even men. A lot of my friends in New Zealand and Australia, they all cook, you know, because we have what called barbecue. Barbecue this, barbecue that.
Always
so
barbecue.
Easy. Not always, but very popular.
It's more easy to cook barbecue. Yeah, better than dish like curry, like.
Well, that's totally different. Totally different. See, pork is not a recognised diet food generally in Malaysia. It's probably not. It's not that popular in the rest of the world. I mean,
Sydney has a special dish or authentic.
Well, because things like saying in Australia, put some more shrimps on the barbie. You know, shrimps mean prawns.
Prawn, yes.
Come on, mate, come around and have some shrimps on the barbie, you know, and a few beers, you know. But I find that, like, as far as alcohol and everything, I mean, I know a lot of expats here because they stay and work here, and I play golf with them, you know. I play golf.
So they have a special or authentic dish? No lah, don't have.
Sydney, no, they have. I mean, very popular roast lamb. Roast lamb is very, you know, sheep roast lamb is very popular. Lamb chops, lamb, beef is very popular, and fish is exceptional, you know. But fish is quite expensive. But the
fish
best,
is expensive.
Yeah, it's not cheap anywhere really. It's, you know, it's not expensive here as much. There's a lot more of it available, you know. I like the restaurants here where you go and the fish are live in a tank. The fish are swimming in a tank, and you say, "I'll have that one." They cook it.
the fresh,
fresh fish,
is
yeah.
more expensive.
Fresh fish is nice.
Fresh is expensive. A West culture or Sydney culture that totally different with Asia.
Oh
This
yes.
has SF. Or
Yeah.
can you give one example that?
Well, I tell you one thing that because I've in my life I've raced cars, but I noticed the standard of driving in Singapore and Malaysia is not as good as say Sydney or Australia.
It's not good.
Not as good. The
Not
standard.
as good.
Standard. I mean, you get in Singapore as well. You get a lot of along the freeway in the wet. They drive too close, you know. And here, a lot of people come right up. It's dangerous. And the big thing here, it's a law in Australia and New Zealand. Your kids must be seatbelt. Or I've seen kids here stand up in the front seat with the heads out the sunroof. Very dangerous. People don't seem to. I know they love their children, but they don't realise you've got 5 kids in the back seat and you have a head on. They go through the screen, you know.
It's really, true.
So very. I think there's a lot of education needed in Malaysia. Really, I really get upset when I see it. I'll tell you, and if I come up beside someone and their kid's not, I say, hey, get your seatbelt, please. Come on, protect your child, please, because it's very dangerous.
Discipline on the safety.
Yeah, absolutely, safety. Yeah. There's a new racetrack. There's a new
low education about safety road.
Well, there's not enough education about safety, obviously, because it's rife, you know. I mean, it's very common to see kids in cars without any restraint. Any restraint, and that's a very important feature of Malaysian culture. And I think hey, you see, even in Thailand, you see motorbike, right? Man driving, girl and 3 or 4 kids in the motorbike. Very dangerous.
You cannot see all this kind at your country, right?
No, you get ticket. The police even if your child not restrained, the police pull you up, give you a ticket. You get fined.
You get fined. Asian people do not afraid about the fine. They take it.
Well, they don't get fined because the police don't pull them up when the kids are like that. That's the trouble.
This is really.
Maybe I'll start a safety campaign for children. What's your finger? What do you do?
We have election. Now
election.
Elections. This
you're doing
already election. We have a
fingerprint.
Proof that we have done election. Tomorrow Malaysia.
Election.
We as
I'm voting for Donald Trump. Is that okay? Can I vote for Donald Trump? Cannot.
Donald Trump is already. Sit down.
No, they're just joking.
Yes, you can. You love to stay here, in Malaysia, and you feel this Malaysia culture is okay with you.
Yes, sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't stay here. I wouldn't stay here. The food, the people, the food, the food, the climate. I mean, sure, we get a lot of rain.
It's not a big problem to.
No. It's very relaxing. Very relaxing. Because, see, Singapore. You know, I'm in New Zealand's relaxing. Australia's quite relaxing, but Singapore's very intense in business and make money. Because you've only got to look at how many billionaires. Money is
number one.
God in Singapore. Whereas here, the quality of life is important. I think with the children, families, family unit, friends. Like the guys, a lot of Malay people playing golf, enjoy.
When you last back to your country?
Before COVID. Before COVID.
Before COVID.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
for 4 years. 4 years. Almost
No,
4 years.
no, 3 years.
Almost
Yeah,
3 years.
yes. 2019. Yeah.
Your kids all
Kids.
at
My
North
son,
Zealand.
my second son, is a doctor,
Oh.
osteopath. His wife is a and she does you know bones and that.
Gym.
She's a
Coach. No.
chiropractor.
Oh,
Chiropractor.
quite operator.
So that work well. He's an osteopath, which is so if you go to a doctor and you've got a pain, normal doctor give you pills. If you go to him, my son, you've got a pain. He said, "Where's the pain?" And he will find out where, and he will manipulate where the pain. Find out like it might have a pain in the shoulder, and might be coming from your back. You know, and he does. So he, yeah.
What's your opinion about racist about racist or apa tu Islamophobia apa about terrorist, the stigma about the race
Oh,
because
yeah,
white
sure.
people
Yeah,
they are afraid of
they're
Islam,
white
right?
Muslim extremists. So absolutely, yeah, and it has
Because you
been
choose
it's been
Malaysia is
proved a
Islam
problem
country.
because, and I mean, they say that I mean the
You don't
Muslim
afraid.
population is growing and that, but I mean, if 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 you've got enough brains, you don't get involved. And I mean, I know there's innocent people being killed. The worst thing was the 9/11 disaster.
Tragedy.
But I guess that I mean, I've spent a lot of time in America, and I don't. I think Americans are very brash people. I think they bring a lot of problems
Brainwash.
because Jakarta, the hotel was bombed.
Yes.
American hotel, And I've been there. I went there and I stayed in a locally owned hotel. This is my girl. Oh no, I'll do it. She can wait. You're staying in a locally owned hotel, no problem. I've never seen in my life anywhere where there's been big Muslim extremists have bombed or this. I mean,
but Malaysia is still
but
peaceful, right? No
Malaysia's
terrorists.
very peaceful. Yeah, very
The
peaceful.
authority is
Actually, more so. Indonesia's probably worse. But other countries like look at Sri Lanka now. The government spent all the money. Now they're up in arms, and people are gathering against the government. Myanmar,
Malaysia is still under control.
Myanmar's run by army. So
Malaysia is not extreme that like the other Asian.
See, one of the worst countries in the world.
What?
One of the worst countries is Saudi Arabia.
Oh, Saudi Arabia, right?
Because the way they treat women, the way they treat women. Yes. Only recently have women been able to drive a car there.
Cannot go to have a good education.
No.
The discrimination of
a lot of
women.
and a lot of in the Middle East, like you take the Sultan of you take the Dubai Maktoum. His daughter tried to run away. They bring her back. That part of the world there's quite a few extremists there, and of course all the problem with that problem in Israel, and so it's all in all, when you look at the whole world, and I looked at the world, the place I really want to live till I die is here, because you can always get on a plane and travel, go to New Zealand or Australia or wherever, but to make a base here, because it's very cheap to live here, Everything is, you know,
Just
the
well, just
weather's
fine.
apart from the rain, but you know that's you live in this area, you're going to get good rain, but it only rains. It doesn't like in New Zealand. It can rain for 3 weeks
3 weeks
every
for
day. It can rain for just
really?
drizzle, not heavy rain like
Oh,
here. Just can rain. Can be cloudy rain. Oh,
oh,
very
very cold.
depressing and very cold. Yeah, but here, you know, it rains, finish rain, heat again. Everything
Because we
dry.
only have two season, 2 months.
Yeah,
Rainy and dry.
yeah. Exactly, exactly.
Okay, I think that's all. Thank you for giving
You
your
sure?
cooperation.
You're welcome. No.
Later we'll continue.
If you
Okay.
want any more, or you want to,
I
you
just
can
call
ring
you,
any.
right?
Just call. Yeah,
Okay, thank
whoever has my number. So
Okay, later if anything else I will ask you.
yeah,
I will
sure.
contact you.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
you got my number. Oh, he's got my number. So
Okay,
just
I
send me. I can send you. You know, or I can send you a video or something. You
okay,
know,
okay, can
so you can download it to your.
my
So
project.
I wish you well with your degree.
Thank you very
So
much.
when do you is this final year?
This is final year.
Oh wow,
My final exam on February. My
February.
last
Okay.
for
Oh,
examination final exam.
I want to hear how you do.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, that's all.
Okay.